Oh, no, wait, we're not done yet. No one. Okay, you can go. I want people to know I was playing for my phone, which I guess you can tell by quality. So it's okay. The mystique is now gone. Hey, everybody, welcome to Gone with the Wind, the show about award shows. We'll be discussing all things award shows, movies, film, maybe sometimes TV. We're feeling like it like last 3 weeks. 3 weeks told us. We talk about whatever we want related to entertainment and film, the film medium. But with me, thank you guys for joining us again. We're doing live because Manning wanted to give this a try because he was lazy, didn't want to edit it and bring it out Wednesday. Plus, we're going to see how this works because StreamYard apparently is something that we like, I am assuming. It's worked well for us in a little bit of time. Yes? No? Maybe?
I don't like.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, guess what? We won't use it again after tonight.
No, we will. It's our only option.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't use it on Gone with the Wind after tonight to make Abe happy. But anyway, speaking of people on the panel, as you can tell by the people we have on the panel, we have Abe.
Hi. You know, last episode was the first time I missed a Gone with the Wind.
Wait, you actually, yeah, was it? No, yeah. I'm sure you've missed one before.
No, I had never missed one before that one.
You've shown up late, but you have not missed one. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, no, wait. I did. It was one of the Oscar nominations when they broke. I was asleep that time.
Well, that was a live reaction. That doesn't count, though, right? Or
I don't
know. That doesn't count.
We'll let the fans decide whether that counts.
Yeah. And speaking of which, we also have from Take 3, Malcolm.
Hi.
Who has not been on every show ever, so wah, wah, wah. I don't think any of. Well, actually, wait, I have because I have to.
Yes.
Well, no one's been on one before. Wait, I have. Although technically speaking, because I couldn't make it the last, because I was on vacation a while ago, you guys could have done it, but without me. But I guess that doesn't really work as well. So, but speaking of our extra panel member, we have the wonderful, the lawyer himself, Ryan McKenna.
What is up, guys? I think I've been on the fewest episodes of everyone on this panel, but we'll make up for that with time.
Is that true? I mean, is it really?
Probably.
Maybe.
Definitely.
We should go back.
Actually, yeah.
Maybe we should go back and check.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, you joined like episode 6, though, right? Or something along those lines. Or were you here from the beginning? I don't remember.
No, not from the beginning.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Anyway, regardless of that, we are all here with our lovely faces on screen. I need to look at the camera. I'm looking off awkwardly. This is weird because I have 2 screens right now up, so it's trying to not be awkward and stare at you guys, the people. But again, if you are watching this live, please feel free to comment, ask us questions. We're trying this format out, seeing how it works in the long run. And we could hate it, we could love it. We will see as time will tell. But our first order of business is breaking news that happened today. Malcolm, you actually brought it up to us. Explain to the good viewers what happened today about Sony and Disney.
Well, honestly, I don't really know what the hell's going on, but apparently, Sony and Disney are parting ways, and we won't be getting any more Spider-Man in the MCU, apparently. I don't quite know the full story because there's so much mixed things out there, because apparently they're still working on 2 more Spider-Man movies. Tom Holland, apparently they're completely separating. It's a lot confusing. So, but yeah, that's basically what's happening. They haven't quite reached an agreement, but apparently they're still trying to find some kind of agreement. So,
no, yeah, I'm reading it right now from Deadline, who had the exclusive, stating Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige won't produce any further Spider-Man films because of an inability for Disney and Sony Pictures to reach new terms that would have given the former a co-financing stake going forward. So taken place over the last few months, and Disney and Sony have essentially nixed Feige and the future involvement of Marvel from the Spider-Man universe, sources have said. So it may not be the nail in the coffin, however, we may never get Spider-Man in the MCU ever again now, guys, and I'm sad. That's really, really sad. I know this is an awards podcast, but just to throw this out there because this was big breaking news that I was kind of out running errands, and then this came into my lap. Ryan, what do you think about this? The possibility of this taking shape?
Obviously this kind of sucks as a fan, but I have a lot of questions on the legal side, funnily
Yes.
enough, because who in their right mind let John Watts and Tom Holland and company just negotiate with Sony such that Sony could continue to use them in their movies alone without Marvel Studios' involvement? And more to the point, who in their right mind decided, okay, well, we can walk away from this relationship and still keep what we have? Because presumably, since Disney still owns all of the MCU intellectual property, like so much of Spider-Man or Tom Holland's Spider-Man is bound up in that mythology. And it's totally bound up in these original stories that the MCU has told. Like, obviously, these are not original characters, but it has told original stories with Tony Stark and Peter Parker, this Peter Parker. And I just don't know how. I don't know how it continues without taking more Disney IP. And if that's not going to happen, like, I just don't know where they go with this, because there's no way you can't extricate that in any sort of reasonable way. So you're probably just going to wind up making a bad movie. And I don't like. I understand where everybody's coming from on a financial level. Like, Disney got a really raw deal when you really think about it, with how they got Spider-Man, and
Yeah.
I can understand Sony being like, well, look, I'm sorry, this is the franchise that makes us the most money.
Yep.
But at the same time, it just like there's a lot of legal malpractice seemingly here, and it really it's unfortunate as a fan that that money is getting in the way of quality entertainment. But
No, yeah. Just from reading right now, they wanted Disney. The article continues to state Disney asked that future Spider-Man films be a 50-50 co-financing arrangement between the studios, and there were discussions that might extend to other films in the Spider-Man universe.
Mhm.
And then apparently, what they had in current terms was Marvel received in a range of 5% first dollar gross. Now, does anyone know what that means? Can you layman's terms?
So a first dollar gross is a first day amount.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is that after they break even, or?
No, so they take 5% of the opening day.
Oh, okay.
That's
And
actually
not a lot of-
that's lower than I expected it to be. Actually, huh?
Mhm.
5% of the first day. So in the long run, Sony got a majority of the big bucks. They just really got Marvel
They
just
did.
really got to use the IP of Spider-Man in their other films, and they just got to work with that
Yeah.
magic, which made Kevin Feige happy. I'm assuming,
Yeah.
because he
And
loves
then-
Spidey.
And then obviously, like, Sony covers production costs and that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
in any
That's
case.
true. All right, and Abe, what about you? What do you think?
I have many questions too. I'm wondering how you go with the character that one of his main storylines through the films has been his relationship with Tony Stark. The last film was about like how he tried to overcome his death, and now you're gonna cut him off from that, and about Happy, like every single character around him, like it's a shadow of the MCU is gonna be over it. And yep, Sony has been like good with Spider-Man, like with Spider-Verse and Venom, but I mean, nobody's loving Venom. Nobody's saying
It's
about-
disputable that Venom is good.
I was about to say,
Well,
It's a
oh, no,
disputable.
what I'm saying, like financially, like,
yes.
not
Yeah, sure.
quality wise, and Spider Verse is great.
Yeah.
So it's like how, I mean, it's gonna be a headache if they don't reach another deal. It's gonna be a headache for John Watts and the creative team to go about and make Tom Holland. They're gonna have to do like a new character. It's gonna be like a reboot in the same franchise with the same people.
Which is just weird.
It's like, but I'm wondering, like,
And you probably
I
can't Jon Favreau anymore. So
Yeah.
you even lose Happy Hogan. Which
yeah,
is
they're gonna like. Can they use like Ned, who has been? Well, I don't think so, right?
Yeah,
What's your-
I mean, I
ahead,
think I think with these other two movies, it's not really clear sort of where they're going to sit, because the way I've kind of answered from what I've heard is they could make a deal with Disney, going, look, we can use these last two movies to sort of finish off Spider-Man's MCU arc, and like use the last movie to kind of figure out a way that's going to take him out of it, then that way they're free to reboot the character Spider-Man in Sony, and then they can do whatever they want from there. But they might make a last deal with Disney, going, "Look, we want to still do these last 2 movies, and we want. Is it all right if we use it to finish off his arc at the MCU, and then that way, like, you're free to continue the MCU with whatever they want?" Because the way I've understood it is they should still be able to reference the character Spider-Man in the MCU, but they can't actually have the character if the deal goes through. I think that's kind of what could happen.
I'm just curious how this is going to shape up, because will they just not mention Tony Stark in the future if they continue with this? Will they just not? Because most of his villains, well, scratch that. The 2 villains he's had so far have had connections to Tony Stark. So I feel like their motivations, if they bring Mysterio back, which at this point I don't think they are, sad face, but when they bring Vulture back, they can't mention Tony Stark at all, which they could get away with theoretically. But now every character has become so ingrained in this MCU, mostly the main characters more so than anything else, that it's going to feel weird just neglecting, especially when you're in New York, which they're going to have to probably move.
I mean, if Sony wanted to do this, the best approach would probably have been, at least in my opinion, would have been to probably run out the clock with Tom Holland here. You have a couple more movies with him, so take advantage while you can. And even if you have to give Disney a decent chunk, and then, restart something else. Because now you get yourself into this weird creative conundrum that isn't going to work for anybody. Or maybe they send Tom Holland to the West Coast and he hangs out with Venom. Yeah. Who knows? But
oof, it's going to be rough.
The Venom Spider-Man shared universe. But
I mean, it's just going to make more Spider-Man movies that just have a loose thread hanging in the balance, like what the Amazing Spider-Mans did.
Oh yeah, it's not going to finish.
Take at the end there.
See, what I sincerely hope is this: that this is probably not going to happen, but I still have hope that they'll come to some sort of agreement after this fan backlash. Do they care? Maybe not. I'm sure Feige cares, and they're going to go try. Do the people up at Sony probably care? I don't think so. But I hope they can come to some sort of agreement sometime, somewhere. Because I don't think this is the end-all, be-all, because this is not like, okay, we didn't come to agreement, never going to talk again. I feel like the talk might continue. Now, if it goes someplace fruitful, we'll see. However, secondly, maybe this also gives us time to actually put more credence, into the animated version of Spider-Man that we have now, Miles Morales, because I think that has some weight and that has some, possible Tom Holland animated meets Miles Morales. They go into this weird thing. Distract us with that, because you don't have to mention Tony Stark at all if you have like a crossover type movie. There you go.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
And the other thing is they've got about 2 years to do something, because if you look at the slate that Marvel announced at Comic-Con, and all the ones that are coming up, there's no reason for them to mention Spider-Man. So they've got at least 2 years to decide what they're going to do with the character and sort of what's going to happen. So they've got that 2-year grace period of figuring out how to write out Spider-Man if they have to do that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Now, that is the quick discussion we have regarding Spider-Man and his future in the MCU/Sony. Now we're going to mosey along to what have we seen in this little time that we have not had Gone with the Wind. Some of us have seen a lot. Some of us have seen some other things. Some of us have watched a lot of TV and betrayed film, and I apologize for that, guys, in advance. We're going to move right along now. I'm going to pick Eeny, Meeny, Miny. Malcolm, what did you watch?
Well, I've actually seen a lot. So
ooh, yay!
because at the time that that we've had done this, I've volunteered at helping ushering for the film festival in New Zealand, which meant that I got to see some movies for free, which is always a bonus.
Absolutely.
But I'll get those. I'll talk about those ones last, because at least one of them wouldn't count for the next year's Oscars anyway, because it technically was a 2018 release. But I'll start with the other movies I've seen. I have since I've recently seen Booksmart. I really love. I this is probably my number one movie that's not called Endgame. So, but yeah, I really loved this movie, and it's just had a lot of heart to it. And if I kind of think it could get some Oscar love, it's really hard to say if these movies that get released early in the year. I saw Stuba with Batista and Kumail Nanjiani. Have you pronounced
Nanjiani. Close enough.
But yeah, I didn't know what to expect from this movie. But I found myself enjoying it more than maybe other people did. It's just one of those action comedies that I didn't think I need. I've seen Rocket Man, which I slightly enjoyed, but I do
You slightly enjoyed?
it was fun. I enjoyed what they did with the biopic. I mean, at the moment, I think it still ended up in my top 10. So at the moment, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Bohemian Rhapsody. I think I slightly would still put it up, but at below Bohemian Rhapsody. But
What do you think about Taron?
he was great. He was great as Elton. But yeah, it's taken me ages to finally see this, but I've finally seen How to Train Your Dragon 3: The Hidden.
Yay!
Hey.
Nice. One of the better movies this year.
But yeah, this is like if this doesn't win Best Animated Feature next year, I'll be surprised.
Wow.
It's probably
Frozen
gonna be
2 still exists. Let's be careful.
I have seen Dora and the Lost City of Gold for some reason. I don't know why I wanted to see that. It's like
Listen, I will defend you. Those trailers of completely being ridiculous, I was into it, so I don't blame you. The moment where she looked off into the camera and like, where should we go? And the people around her like, who is she looking at? That was the best. It was the best, and I would see it for that scene alone. Go ahead.
yeah, I didn't enjoy this movie. I mean, it had moments of fun, but ultimately, I think they tried leading too much into those Dora jokes. Because, well, yes, they did show it in the trailer. There's a lot more in the actual movie that do pop up. I've finally seen Extremely Wicked and Incredibly Close, which I thought was a fun movie.
Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, or
the Ted Bundy one.
Extremely Wicked, incredibly vile, and something.
It's not the Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, which is not a fun movie.
But yeah, like Zac Efron was great as Ted. I think the fact that it was released on Netflix could mean he could make him not be nominated. I don't know. But now for the ones I actually saw at the film festival, I saw Under the Silver Lake, which I actually really enjoyed this. This is one that I knew by name that I've heard of it because I knew it had Andrew Garfield, but I had no idea what to expect. I've never once seen the trailer for it. But I went into this blind, and I really liked it. I saw High Life with Robin Pattinson, which was just a crazy movie.
I am so excited to watch that
wow.
movie. It's been sitting in my iTunes, like waiting to be
Oh,
watched
okay.
for a long time. But
Oh wow.
And I also saw the movie Mid-90s, which came out last year, which was okay. But yeah, there wasn't really much about it that I hated it either, or loved. So just okay.
Wow.
That's fine. Okay.
You had a busy time.
I gotta say, you definitely can. You have as busy of a time, Ryan?
No, because
Oh.
I have been hellishly busy. So
I feel
I have
that.
seen very few things. I think the last time we met, I had already seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and we'll get to that, I'm sure, later.
Mhm. Yes.
Since the last time we met, I believe I saw Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. I don't think that was out at the time we
Nope.
last recorded.
That was not.
And that was, I don't know, it was what it needed to be, I guess.
Yes.
It was
As
acceptable
much as you can expect.
and kind of funny, but that's all I can say for it. I saw Tell It to the Bees, which was terrible. But
Wait, what?
this is a Netflix movie about a lesbian couple in like early 1900s England, and it's like stars Anna Paquin and some other British woman who I can't remember now, and one of them has like a kid, and he's like struggling with the situation, and he tells like secrets to bees that they keep in their yard. I was not a fan. It's not worth watching, in my opinion. It's a Netflix movie. Friend put it on. It was kind of dumb.
For a second, I thought you said tell it to the Beebs.
No, Tell It to the Bees.
No. And the actress is Holiday Granger. I wouldn't have gotten that either, Ryan. You're fine.
Yeah. And then last and probably best of the movies I saw was Good Boys. That was really, really funny. And the more I think about it, it's like increasing in my mind in quality. The thing that like holds it back is that like most of the actors are really not good.
Oh.
and that kind of makes it a little bit more difficult. But it was actually nice, and this is something I observed as I was walking out of the theater. It was nice to finally watch a movie with Jacob Tremblay in it, where not every other actor was amazing, because he's been in so many movies where he's around a bunch of other talented people, whether they're talented children or talented adults, and you're like, okay, well, clearly this kid has talent, but how much talent? And then when you see him against a bunch of other child actors who are not nearly as good, you're like, oh, I see.
Is it that noticeable?
It is that noticeable.
Oh,
and
good for him. Well, not for the other kids, but for him.
That kid's got another gear. And the fact that he's able to do something as dramatic as Room and as kind of silly as a Seth Rogen comedy and feel perfectly natural in both speaks volumes. And I hope he's more than just a child star. But even if he is just a child star, let's enjoy this career while we have it, because he is a terrific young actor.
Did my light just go off in my room automatically?
Your light did just go off.
That's terrifying. Okay.
And that is all. So, Abe.
Okay, Abe, what did you see?
So I saw Hobbs and Shaw, which was fun. I laughed a lot. There was this lady, like she was in her 40s in the theater, and she was having the time of her life, and that made the experience better. Like, I was laughing so hard the whole movie, and everybody was laughing with her, so that made it fun. I saw Secret Life of Pets 2, which was just the first one. It was okay. I don't have to say much of it because I don't remember much of it. Oh, Harrison Ford was good in it.
Yeah, I was about to say, how was that guy?
Yeah,
Harrison Ford was in Secret Life of Pets too.
Yeah, he plays.
Oh, no.
He plays what's that? Rooster.
He plays himself as a dog, basically.
Oh yeah. Have you watched it?
Nope.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
pretty much that. He plays himself as a dog. I saw Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
How was that?
It was fine.
Okay.
I think like the concept is great, everything that was happening is great, but I don't think the acting was up there. Like I don't believe any of the child actors like selling it, and it was hard to get behind because there's some emotional moments and you don't really believe any of them. It's like, it's like a TV show made into a movie, which is it actually set up a sequel. I'm not going to tell what. But set us a sequel, which I'll probably watch if it comes out, which is probably going to happen because it had a big opening. But it was fine. And I saw this Almodovar's new film. Its name...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, what's the name of it in English? Pain and Glory? I think Antonio... I saw it. It opened in Mexico like a while ago. It's Pain and Glory. Stars Antonio Banderas. The film is really good. I think Banderas is probably his best performance since... I don't know.
Oh, yeah?
he. Oh wait,
Did your
wait.
light go off too?
No, it was my monitor.
I was about
Oh
to say, oh god, it's haunted.
yeah, and
So-
it feels like a really personal film because it's this. I think it's kind of autobiographical because it's like the guy looks like Almodovar.
Mhm.
The film looks. I had never seen an Almodovar film before. I think so, but I know his aesthetic and it's beautiful to see. Since the opening credits, there's this. It's titled with these splashes of paint, which look beautiful. The
Yeah.
acting is extremely good. Uh, it it was interesting to watch,
Do you
but
think
instead
it's
of
Do you think it's got a foreign chance?
yes,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
I don't know if Parasite is as good as they say or anything. I don't know if it's gonna like if there's not any more competition. I think it has a chance.
Now I will say, now looking
Rotten Tomatoes.
no, for best he won best actor at the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh yeah, he's great. Like he and there's this guy who plays his friend. What's his name? I have to. I don't know. It's his Spanish actor.
someone.
Yeah, and he's fantastic. Like I love him. I love him more than Banderas. What's his name?
Oh, okay.
His name is Asier. I don't know. It's in Spanish and I cannot even pronounce it.
I'm about to say.
Asier Exeandia. Exeandia. I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Exeandia. But he looks like him. That's him. I don't know if you've
Nice.
seen it, but he plays his friend, like his close friend, and it's great. Like it has great artistic choices, and it's like it doesn't really have a story like a straight like there's not a lot of drama with the character and stuff, but it feels real, like real in this told in a fantastical way because everything he does. So yeah, I saw that.
Well, I wish you put that on my radar because I didn't even know that existed. So now I'm looking out for it. And finally, for me, before we move on to trailers, I was on vacation, not this past week, but the week prior. So I didn't go out to the theater. Really, I just kind of watched when I was on the beach. I just kind of got my iPad out and just kind of watched some sunset and then watched. Caught up with some Tarantino because Tarantino actually had a lot of blind spots. He's one of my directors with a lot of blind spots, so I caught up with some of those. We'll discuss later. Saw Reservoir Dogs. I'll give my opinions on those later. I saw The Hateful Eight. Caught up with that finally. I rewatched Pulp Fiction again, which I have a greater appreciation for that movie. Because when I first saw it, I was like, how old was I? I don't remember how old I was, but I saw it and I was like, I don't get it. Now I'm older and I'm like, oh, Manning, just educate yourself more on the actual what he's trying to do there. So I saw that again, and then I made it halfway through Jackie Brown before I was like, I'm good. And then, sorry, I just was not feeling. I was not feeling that one in comparison to the other ones. And just because I wanted to watch something else, but I spent most of my time binging TV shows, getting that out of the way because a lot of friends recommended some stuff to me. But one in particular that I really want to highlight, because this isn't a TV thing whatsoever, but one that I really want to highlight is how many of you guys have seen, probably not a scene, but have heard of the show, the anime, Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Yes.
I have seen it. I've heard of it.
Aware of it, never seen it.
Heard
Okay.
of it, but I haven't watched any.
I
Actually, I've seen like an episode, but anyways.
I saw it on a whim because it has like critical acclaim, and it finally made it on Netflix, so I decided, why not? I'll watch it. Binged that entire thing through vacation for a week, the 20-something episodes, and I was having an existential crisis following it, where it was just this, holy cow, this is a fantastic piece of art, because people don't know, the guy, Hidaki Ado, I believe, Hidaki Anno, I don't know. The director was suffering through clinical depression during this time, even before that. So he literally put himself upon the canvas. And there is a few shows or movies or anything, mediums that I've seen that is literally so raw and translates so well. It's a mess at times, but it feels so, I don't know, genuine and honest in a way that most animes that I've seen casually. I'm not the biggest anime fan. I've only seen stuff here and there, but something that I felt was so real, but kind of It reminded me of 2001: A Space Odyssey. This is weird comparison, but the shots linger. Everything feels so slow and deliberate. It's something that's I have not witnessed before in an anime, and it reminded me akin to something that Kubrick did. Really weird, but just wanted to throw that out there. So much so that I'm writing my next video essay on that because I think it is phenomenal when it comes to that. But that's about it. Yeah, I did not expect to like it as much as I did, and there you go. I spent most of my time watching that much of that show. So, and of course, I'll quickly go into one that I think is one of the most important ones I've seen this year, and that is The Farewell. Lulu Wang's The Farewell, which I believe is genuinely one of the best films of this year. Because it was also one of my most anticipated. However, upon seeing it, those were shot down because it is not the film I expected whatsoever. It is a very melancholy film that just kind of, you're always at a distance from the people. And it made me realize how different Eastern culture is from the West. Specifically because the character of Awkwafina, who plays the character of Billy, or Awkwafina, who plays the character of Billy in Farewell, is at a crossroads between the East and the West. The two battles in her, and there is a different part of her that she is trying to fill. And Awkwafina is actually pretty brilliant. Going from Crazy Rich Asians to this, I am impressed. I am very, very impressed. And we could possibly, because this film has gotten critical acclaim, has made it to the festival rounds. This could be our indie darling of the year, because if there's any small budget film to do it this year, this probably might have the chance as the little film that could, just as a possibility. But it is gorgeously shot. The music is haunting, and it just kind of leaves you thinking and just contemplating over what has transpired. I won't go into too much of it, but they basically, as the trailer suggests, they won't tell the grandmother that she is slowly dying from lung cancer. And she is at a loss to do that because the west side of her is like, I need to tell her this. I need to give her that chance. And the east side is like, no, we must bear this burden for her that she doesn't have to do this. And as a Western mind, I'm like, yeah, why are you doing this? But they explain it in such a way that I just had this greater appreciation and understanding of why these two cultures are so different. And I was Awkwafina this entire time while remaining my distance because it felt very, very like we were watching it happen. We weren't an active participant. We were merely watching this unfold, and it was uncomfortable. The silence was really... You know what? I won't explain it more. Just go out and see it. It's just a fantastically done film for Lulu Wang. I highly recommend it. Go see it because it might as well get an Oscar nomination as the months go by. And speaking of Oscar nominations, we've had a lot of trailers go out in these couple of weeks that we have been absent. So we are going to quickly talk about some thrown out there. Which one do we want to talk? Actually, we're going to talk about. There's one I wanted to talk about that came out right before we finished recording. Ryan, 3 weeks ago, and that was Jojo Rabbit. Have you seen it? Saw the trailer?
You
haven't seen the trailer. Okay, no, you haven't seen.
I've seen parts of the trailer.
Okay, well, I will say, how many of you guys seen the trailer for Jojo Rabbit?
I've seen it, but I haven't seen it in 3 weeks.
Well, I haven't seen it in 3 weeks either. I just know that it's stuck with me that long because, wow, this feels. Does anyone get like a Wes Anderson vibe, but more, what's the word? Dark.
Crazy.
Yes, a little more demented. Because I've not seen What We Do in the Shadows, so outside of Ragnarok,
a lot more demented.
Have you watched?
Yes, a lot more demented.
Have you watched Hunt for the White?
Hunt for the. I've not seen that, so Taka Waititi is not one that I'm like gone out.
Yeah, because it feels like that.
It does. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it feels like.
I don't know about that.
Really?
That movie has a lot more heart and a lot less Hitler.
It's a satire. That's the point.
He mentioned it is a satire, so I'm really curious at how he's going to be doing this. Yeah. Because I know you don't have much faith in him. I don't know how faith I have in him, but the trailer intrigued me enough to where I don't think this has Oscar chances, but man, I'm excited to see this.
It's not that I don't have faith in him. It's just that I have mixed feelings about his comedy. I actually really liked Hunt for the Wilder People. But I find his comedy a little overrated, and maybe it's just not for me. I don't know. It's probably that. That's probably what it is. But
Possibly. But yeah, no, just wanted to throw that out there because that was a crazy thing that came out.
It's classic Kiwi comedy at its finest. It really is. Because a lot of the Kiwi comedies have that same
Really?
dark.
yeah,
Oh yeah. And I mean, the cast is actually quite stacked in this because you've got ScarJo, you've got Thomas and Mackenzie, you've got Sam Rockwell, you've got Rebel Wilson, you've got Sarah Merchant, all in this one movie. So it's definitely an interesting movie, and I'm definitely going to see when it comes out. It looks really great.
Yeah, Rebel Wilson really sticks. After this and the Catch trailer, Rebel Wilson's going to have a wonderful year when it comes to
Oh,
this.
Remember
Cat's
at
going to
the
win
big-
all the Oscars.
remember at the beginning of the year I said Rebel Wilson was gonna be nominated for Cats?
Wait, did you?
Yes, I want to regret that.
You bet.
I did say that she was gonna be nominated for supporting actress, I think. So I just want to regret that.
Okay, Ryan and I talked about that trailer last week. I want to hear what you guys... Just quick thoughts on the Catch trailer.
I mean,
Go
what
ahead,
else-
either one.
What else could you expect? They like the feature they released before the trailer said how it was gonna be. It looks terrible in some parts. Whereas I'm gonna watch it. I'm still intrigued by it. It's scary, like very scary to see. I think there are shots that really look terrible, but there are some that look just fine. It's people in furry, which is not that normal. But it's a movie about cats dancing. What else can you expect?
Yeah, I mean, when I heard they're doing a movie based on cats, my first thought was, how the hell are they going to do it? Because I initially thought was that maybe they're going to do it an animated musical and it actually be like they're going to get voice cast and actually have like animated actual cats doing like there. I'd not expect we're going to get a literal movie adaptation of the stage show, which really does not work. And
No.
and I mean, if they'd stuck to actually just the actual costumes without CGIing the costumes, it could have been better. But the CGI costumes doesn't work.
I think I'm not sure who said it or where I found it out about it, but apparently they didn't. It looks really weird because apparently they literally reanimated a lot of the cats. So it's not motion capture for most of the cats. I'm not sure for almost any of them. They literally hand traced the faces and all that back. So then that's why it looks unsettling because it's not natural. It's not natural whatsoever. And I hope I pray to the Lord on high that they fix that atrocity of cats because these visual effects are insulting to my intelligence.
or we just don't go. That's the real solution.
But it's gonna be so weird, and I'm terrified.
It's out in December, isn't it? Or has it been moved to January?
No, it's still December unless is it Christmas? I'm not sure if it's Christmas Day or if it's like because they pull a Les Mis or something or like
it's
hey
in
guys,
that
musical.
area.
All right, cats aside, we're gonna move right on to another one, my favorite trailer of this past couple weeks, and that is Little Women. I am a huge fan of the 1994 version of Little Women, where with Winona Ryder as Jo. I love that one to pieces. And this one,
can I interrupt you for 1 second?
what is it?
Do you know when they're opening Cats?
Christmas Day?
No, they're opening it against Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. That is the counter programming.
I mean, I think they want to do what
December 20th.
They were trying to do what they did with The Greatest
Sisters.
Showman. No, The Greatest Showman. It's like it up
Yeah.
in Jumanji, The Greatest Showman, and that compete against Episode 8.
Maybe they're hoping for it to play like The Greatest Showman, where it plays like, it just doesn't die. It just keeps going and going and going until it doesn't leave the top 10 to like what? February? Because
Yeah, but
Actually-
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'm excited for Little Women. I was a big fan of Lady Bird and Greta Gerwig. I think Saoirse Ronan is a perfect choice as Joe specifically, and I'm actually really digging Emma Watson in this one. I'm not the biggest Emma Watson fan, so I am excited to see exactly where this plays out. Everyone seems pitch perfect. Although I'm at the point in my life now where I see Meryl Streep and I'm like, oh no, please let's see her first before we nominate her, people. Come on, let's wait. Let's hold off. Let's not pull it into the woods here. Because I don't know, it's my gut reaction now to this point, because she is the Queen Meryl. But let us wait, guys. Let's wait till we see it. Before we crown her a supporting actress nomination. But I am super excited for this trailer. I'm ready to see it. Ryan, did you see it, and what did you guys think? Actually, you know what? If you guys have something to say for a trailer I'm going to mention, please just blurt it out. If you have a passion, speak your truth, as they say, the kids these days.
Well, this will be the second movie that I see on Christmas. I mean, not on Christmas Day, because my family never goes to the movies on Christmas. But this will be the second movie I see from that release date, because there's another movie I'm more interested in. But I thought this trailer was pretty good. Queen Meryl looks awesome, and she better get that supporting actress nomination.
Over there, problem, Ryan.
But no, it looks really good. I'm excited to see it. It looks like this. This is a project that I'm happy that is getting made, and Greta Gerwig is doing a good job with it. So
it feels very modern in the sense of like it feels modern in the sense of just how it seems presented. The dialogue seems very snappy, but at the same time, it looks very, I don't know, it looks new because it's made here, man. Duh. But it's set in that time period, and I'm kind of excited because we haven't gotten a really good period piece, at least this far back in time, I should say, in a while. So I'm looking forward to that. What about you guys?
That's wonderful.
Little Women.
That's why they were gonna, I don't know if you guys remember, but if once you want to go, Mark? I don't know.
Go ahead. You guys can fight to the death.
Go ahead, Malcolm.
Yeah, I love this trailer, and like this is one of those books I really loved reading when I was younger, and to actually be able to see it on the big screen, because I haven't actually seen any of the other adaptations if they've done it before, and so just to go and refresh with this new adaptation. I've always loved Emma Watson. I don't think I've ever seen a Saoirse Ronan movie I've hated. So yeah, I mean, just for those ones, and Meryl Streep's always good. She's going to get nominated because why not?
Yeah. Okay. And Abe, you have any thoughts you want to add?
Looks wonderful. That's they were not. If Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was not ready for Cannes, they were gonna open this in Cannes. Sony was gonna take this spot, and it looks like it. Yeah, that was that was a rumor before it happened. But it looks wonderful. I think Saoirse Ronan, Saoirse, I still cannot pronounce it. She's gonna get her 4th Oscar nomination, I believe.
Maybe.
Yeah, she's probably gonna get it, and she's probably gonna lose it. If I have to predict why, I don't know. Mean, she's way too young. If Amy Adams doesn't win it, she will not. I don't know why. But it's wonderful. I think Greta we're seeing her like growing as a filmmaker, because I really like Lady Bird, and this looks great too. So looking forward for it.
Is this opening at Venice or Toronto?
I don't know.
There's something that can let us know.
Or both, but whatever.
I'll Google it.
All right, someone quickly go check. In the meantime, we are going to move also next to the next trailer that Abe, heads up. Thank you again for sending all those out.
You're welcome.
We're going to go quickly on to Marriage Story. We're going to try to get through these as fast as we can, because there's a lot. Marriage Story, and I think actually, Abe, you take it away first, since you sent it out first.
Okay, just want to say that Little Women is going to open till December. Not gonna...
No.
Well, according to IMDb...
No festivals.
Well, according to IMDb, that's what I'm looking at. That the release date is on December. A day on December. So. I don't know what to say. I'll continue with Marriage Story. There's two
Marriage Story,
trailers
go
for
ahead.
this, and I'm really excited for this because I think Adam Driver is probably one of the. He's probably top 5 of best actors working today. You see it in Black Klansman. You see it in what's the name of that film? He's a truck driver. Patterson.
Patterson, a bus
Yep.
driver.
Yeah, he's
He drives something.
bus driver. Oh, he drives a big car. Let's say. I think it looks. I think Noah Baumbach. It's a fantastic. I really love his last film. But the name, the Meyerowitz stories.
Meyerowitz stories, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I think he's able to pull performances from his actors in a really natural way, and his dialogue is fantastic. So I think they have a chance. And a lot of people. Well, I've been reading that this is actually the horse for Netflix this year. That they're gonna be pushing this one
Not
it's
Irishman?
well, that's what I read. I read
Okay, let's say,
4
because
tweets.
interesting.
Well,
We'll get into Irishman in a second, but still.
yeah, but like it looks. I think there's gonna be great performance from it. I think there's a chance for it to get nominated. Like these small films sometimes. Well, small.
Yeah.
It depends how much money they put on in the campaign. To be honest.
No, that's true. One thing, Noah Baumbach really hasn't.
He hasn't done
Like,
any like Oscar.
Yeah, the
He's
last
been
thing.
nominated, but like
Yes, Squid and the
I
Whale.
don't think it's
That's the one he got nominated for screenplay, and then he just hasn't done like anything that they've kind of looked at for a while. But I'm still excited to see this because it looks, especially the way they did the trailer. I am excited to see how these two actors perform because he is an actor's director. I want to see ScarJo and I want to see Adam Driver just act this movie, acted away because I am on board. I am on board. What about the rest of you?
I think it looks reasonably interesting. Don't really have that much to say about it, but
There's not much to it other than the fact that, hey guys, they're coming out with this movie with ScarJo and Adam Driver. Be excited, and I like them both, so I agree with that.
yeah.
I agree with that astute assessment, Ryan. And then Malcolm.
I haven't watched these trailers. I didn't get it around to them.
Oh no. Okay. Well, long story short, the marriage story that they're having is one of divorce. So just them doing their thing, acting. Yes, they are acting. All right, moving on to the next one. Which one did you send out? I had a list and I lost the list, Abe.
Parasite.
Thank you.
Ooh.
The guy who did Okja.
And
Yeah. Ugh.
And a lot of other
and
better movies than
Snowpiercer.
Okja.
That's the only one I've seen actually that I'm from him. So that's just in my mind. Ugh. Okja. All right. So what do we think about Parasite, guys? It's done fantastic so far in the festivals that it has been at, and for the critical reviews and reception. It is a foreign language film. Do we expect this to possibly pull a Roma this year?
No, but
No.
Good talk.
nevertheless, it does look like it's cool. And like honestly, like I like South Korean and Japanese cinema. I think that that those two countries produce a lot of very good movies, and I'm excited to see what he does with this because it's a very different kind of movie. I'm a little worried, given Okja, that this movie is going to be a little bit too on the nose. And given what Cannes has awarded in the past, I don't know if you guys saw I, Daniel Blake, but that movie was exquisitely on the nose, and Okja was exquisitely on the nose. And I think that if you combine that flurry into what this is and how they're marketing this, I'm a little worried about it being a kind of preachy film. But it looks cool. I'm interested. I'll definitely be there.
I actually didn't know he did Snowpiercer, so I've seen 2 films that he has done, which Snowpiercer is infinitely better than Okja. All right, what about you guys? What do you think about Parasite and the foreign language film from South Korea?
It looks interesting. It's one of those ones that I'm not a big fan of like foreign language films as it is. So it is what it is. I may give this a go when it comes out, but yeah, ultimately it looks shot good, and I could see it doing a lot. It's just not one that I would probably I'm interested in seeing myself. So
No, that's fine. And then, yeah, again, I'm excited to see this because I love Asian cinema in general. Just because I do agree with Ryan that they usually have a really good visual eye most of the time, and I'm not sure if like it has to do with anime of some kind because Your Name is still one of my favorite films. Period. Just because animated films, and it's just wonderfully done. So I'm really to see what he's done, especially since he's done Snowpiercer, because I like Snowpiercer a lot. All right, and did you say Abe? Did you mention? I forgot.
No,
Parasite?
Nothing. Looks interesting.
Basically, yeah.
Well, I think I'm worried because the trailer says like I don't like when trailers do that. You're not expecting what's happening. The trailer says something like that in one of those quotes, and I'm worried about things like that. I'm saying like
it takes a turn that you would never expect.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm expecting a turn.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to expect anything. Just show me the movie. Let me be surprised. Now I'm gonna be expecting a turn.
True. Because now, apparently, it is a black comedy thriller film. So this is going to be really fascinating. That's what the official. Yeah. I don't know.
We kind of knew that though, right?
But like, just to hear this is going to be a black comedy thriller film. We don't get too many of those. I'm interested to see how that translates, even with the critical acclaim, because it won the Palme d'Or. I think that's how you pronounce it, the Palme d'Or at Cannes Film Festival, which is like the first Korean film to ever win that. So that's saying something right there. But yeah, all right, we have a lot more. Actually, Jonathan Peck in the comments had talked to us about Dolmite Is My Name. I believe that's how you pronounce his name officially. I did actually not watch this trailer because okay, it's gonna sound really bad, but Netflix comes up, and I get a little dubious when it comes to movies that I have not heard of, and that's more along the lines of just because I have been burned too many times with original Netflix films that have not been bought or acquired by them a la Roma. So I am dubious to even check them out. I saw it scrolling through my Facebook feed, so I have not watched it particularly yet. But I'm excited because Eddie Murphy is in it. And I have not seen Eddie Murphy do anything since, Mr. Church, and that was 2014, 2015. 2 years? Really? 2016? Or 20? Really?
I don't know. It could be 2015.
I'm looking him up now.
It's 2017, right? Oh no, 2016. Damn.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm surprised. But no, I have not watched it yet. Did you guys watch it?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even know this movie existed until it was brought up in the chat.
Okay.
It looks. I think Eddie Murphy is having fun, and we all know how charismatic he is, and the movies can be terrible, but maybe his charisma can carry the film a little bit. Do you know what it's based on? I think it's based on this guy who wanted to do a Shaft style movie, and he did it by himself, something like that, right? If I'm not mistaken, if I read that correctly. Looks fun. As you say, what worried me, if it was gonna be in theaters or something, I would be more excited.
Yeah.
But because it's on Netflix, usually those movies are not good. Unless it's a Cuarón. It's
acquired through
Yeah, Aquaron or Aquaron, which I cannot remember another Netflix movie, which is Mod One was good. What else?
I don't know actually.
What's that?
I'm now curious.
Beasts of No Nation.
Mudbound.
Yeah,
Mudbound.
Yeah, those films are, but most of them are not really good. So that's the only thing that worries me. But looks like Eddie Murphy's having fun. It's gonna open at TIFF, so it may have some chances, maybe performance or even I don't know, or even writing. Sometimes comedies. Well, it looks like a comedy get writing awards. So yeah, it looks fun. I don't see it being maybe a Golden Globe nomination, but nothing Oscar wise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now looking at the movies that they've actually released when it comes to Netflix. Oh, that's international distribution. I was wondering why Hell or High Water was under that.
There's too many of them to like. I've tried this
Oh.
before, but it's just like
What?
they've gone off the rails with how many movies that they've released. So it started off at a reasonable number, and now it's just like totally absurd. But while we're on Netflix, maybe we should chat about The Irishman.
That is a wonderful segue. The Irishman trailer came out during our 3-week break, and that was a trailer. I was very well shot trailer. Was anyone else really thrown off by how they looked young wise? Am I the only one there? I think then we'll fix it up and post them up, but it was anyone else thrown off because I knew Joe Pesci and De Niro did not look right. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that they really didn't. The de-aging really does not look good, and I hope it gets fixed up. I ultimately wasn't impressed by the trailer either. It kind of looks like it's just a paint-by-numbers story that doesn't look that interesting.
Yeah. What about Ryan? You're a big Scorsese fan.
I don't know that I describe myself as a big Scorsese fan, but I like him. I think he's a great filmmaker. And he certainly made some movies that I absolutely adore. I don't think this is necessarily going to be one of them. I kind of see this, and granted, this like really takes him back, but like I kind of see this as like a Mean Streets kind of like quality film. Like it's
cool.
good, but it's missing. It's missing something that you get in Goodfellas or Casino or whatever, pick your Scorsese gangster movie of choice. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, look, Scorsese's made some of the best gang movies of all time. And I think that this looks to be another quality piece, but not one of his best. But that's, look, his best are not what you necessarily get to expect every single time. And yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes. Scorsese's dips into technology in the past have worked out well. I think that Hugo is a great example of using 3D in film, and he did a very good job with that. And I think that I have faith that he will deliver something good with the de-aging in the final product, but we'll see.
I'm hoping as well too. Abe, you're a big Scorsese fan, right?
I am. I was gonna say that. I'm probably the biggest one right here.
I was about to say, I knew one of you. I wasn't sure who it was, but now I know.
I actually woke up in that morning and I was like, yes, these movies make most anticipated movie of the year. Like it's been for the last 2 years because I thought it was gonna come up. Whoa, was it?
Every other year prior.
No, yeah, this year it was, and I was not underwhelmed. The Asian stuff, I'm terrible noticing that. I saw that trailer like 3 times. I couldn't tell you which shots they were de-aged.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm really bad note. Like with just the Superman stuff in Justice League. Unless you point it out, I cannot notice that. I'm terrible with it.
I was about to say, let us all show Abe a deep fake, and then we'll see what happens.
Oh no! Oh, the first time I saw that, I was like, "Oh, he's a really good actor." Until I saw comments, and, "Oh, what the fuck is going on?" But I'm really excited about this. I think De Niro and Scorsese, they're doing well. I thought this were now with DiCaprio. And it's a Netflix film, which is still because they're financing it and everything. And sometimes I think they give a lot of money to creators, and they say do whatever you want, and sometimes that's not good, even though your margins Scorsese. Which I can follow on that if I have to put off a negative, but I think it looks wonderful. It reminds me more of Casino than Goodfellas, or even you say Main Streets, which both movies I love. I love like most them. what's the my least favorite Scorsese movie is probably The Departed.
Really?
Because it feels a less like a
Wow.
Okay. Well, okay, but have you seen all of his movies?
no, I haven't seen The Last Temptation of Christ, and it's one of the New York stories.
But you've seen Who's That Knocking at My Door and Boxcar Bertha,
Yeah, I thought those.
which are both not good.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I thought those are fine.
They're not good. Boxcar Bertha is, I think, objectively bad.
No, I think most of them are fine, but like the part just feels like. I mean, I think it's really good, but I don't see it like in a Scorsese.
Although on this subject, what is everybody's favorite Scorsese film, and what is everybody's
Ooh.
like most underrated Scorsese film, or at least talked about? Maybe.
Ooh. Okay, that is a great actually segue before we get into our big topic of the day. For me personally, my favorite and there was light in Abe's room. Hallelujah. And my favorite Scorsese
That
film.
one.
No. I actually might agree. I think The Wolf of Wall Street might be one of my personal favorites, but I haven't really rewatched it since it came out 2013. 2013? Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't rewatched it then, but I remember watching and just having just such a fun time in the theater and realizing, man, I really like DiCaprio in this role. I want to do something more like this. So I really, really liked that. However, Raging Bull is just, from a technical standpoint, might be one of my favorites, just from what he's done and just from what De Niro and them do together as a team. Underrated, though, that is come back to me for that one. I need to think on that. I need to go through his filmography for a second, because that man has done plenty of films.
Underrated, I think. The King of Comedy. I don't think a lot of people talk about him. I think it's probably that my De Niro Raging Bull is way too good. Yeah, it's probably my second favorite De Niro performance. But also Cape Fear. I don't think a lot of people talk about that. That movie's terrifying. Like, it's really messed up when you see it. It's those two.
Hold up. I completely forgot about it. His best movie is Easily Silence. Easily Silence. I don't know why I didn't think about that one prior, but what he did with Silence, I completely forgot about that movie. Sorry, Wolf of Wall Street, you're fun, but what you did with Silence, although Raging Bull is super close. It's super, super close because of the technical mastery. But from a story standpoint and how that's one of those movies, as I mentioned prior, like Evangelion, the creator bears their soul out on the screen. It's like a painter into the canvas. Silence is one of those for me, where he literally just bared himself on there. It was so personal, and I loved it. As a Christian myself, that was kind of like this wonderful introspective of like, let me question my entire existence now, because these are such deep and philosophical thoughts that didn't feel like Scorsese at all, but also kind of in a weird way did. So yes, Silence, absolutely, thumbs up, very nice. Yes.
It's all good you forgot about it. The Oscars also forgot about Silence as well. So.
Have you watched it?
I haven't seen Silence.
So good.
So fantastic.
For me, my favorite one would probably have to be The Departed. And for me, one that I think is underrated as a Scorsese film is probably The Aviator. It gets talked about more for Leo's performance, but not about Martin's directing so much. So I think a lot of people keep talking about it as a Leo film. They keep forgetting it's about a Scorsese film as well.
Mm.
You know which one else? Oh,
For you, Ryan.
Well, to answer my own question, my favorite Scorsese film is Wolf of Wall Street. I agree with Abe there. I think that is a truly great movie. And then in terms of underrated, I have two sort of like bundles. I have the underrated great films, and I have the not great film but really good film that is like nobody talks about. So in the underrated great films, Silence for sure.
Mm-hmm.
People need to give that movie way more respect than they do.
Yes.
Casino, which people just seem to forget happened.
Yep.
And The Color of Money, I think are all very good films, and yet nobody seems to care about them.
I agree. Sorry, go ahead. Just finish.
And then the other good film that I wanted to highlight that is just impossible to find, and it's just been completely wiped from his filmography for some reason, is Kundun, which I think is a really interesting movie about the religious politics of Tibet. And it's just this fascinating thing that is impossible to find. And I'm so happy that I went to a library and found it because it's really good, and I hope more people watch it.
He was banned from the Tibet, Vietnam, from doing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, he's not allowed to be in one of those countries.
Yeah.
You know which other film? Bringing Out the Dead.
Or China, right?
Yeah, it starts Nicolas Cage and John Goodman. He plays a ambulance.
I didn't really like that movie, but sure, I can.
I remember. I don't
like it.
remember that much, but I saw it on vacation. Like I was on vacation and it was playing on the hotel room TV, and I watched it and it was really entertaining. But that was supposed to be.
Yeah, I totally didn't realize Kundun was a movie. So thank you for bringing that to my attention, because that's one that I just for some reason I have not heard of that one. And in going through his filmography, that one apparently just missed my mind.
It's nowhere to be found.
There we go. That explains it. But no, I agree. The Color of Money is probably one of my favorite Paul Newmans, and thank you for bringing that up, because I think that is easily one of his most underrated films. Because I didn't realize that was Scorsese until I found out afterwards. I don't know. I had this wonderful, like, not 80s, 70s feel, 80s feel, that, which I guess Taxi Driver, but you know what I mean. It didn't fit into the mold of a classic Scorsese film, and that kind of, like, I don't know. I like it when directors don't do stuff that feels like them. It kind of goes off the radar, and I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't like Hugo?
Well, they don't always work for me personally, but that's one of those
I
where
like Hugo, so
it's fine. It's fine. It didn't deserve all the critical praise. Cough, cough. Visual effects. Cough, cough. But
the visual effects were actually good.
They were, but Planet of the Apes, man.
We agree. We've discussed this before, but in any case,
we have. You're right.
Yeah.
Still. All right. That is most of the trailers we've had. There are still some we haven't talked about, but that is just a lot to go through. And we are still going to get into the last 30 minutes of the show. We're going to be discussing what I honestly think is an incredibly fascinating discussion from a very controversial director who also has a lot of critical acclaim. Maybe controversial in the sense of just, the subject that he chooses. We'll go with that. But I believe he's still one of the most influential directors, especially of this time period from the 90s and then more so on to, I guess, the 2000s and to where we are now. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Quentin Tarantino. He in himself is a force to be reckoned with, especially when it comes to writing screenplays and getting his projects off the ground. He has one more film after the recent film he had in theaters, which is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or so he says. I don't know anymore because he's like, oh, I might stop soon. But we won't know until we find out later. So we're going to do a quick discussion going through his filmography because he has a very nice, succinct filmography when it comes to directing and writing screenplays. But we're going to go with his directorial achievements first and not getting into the nitty-gritty stuff that he's... What was that one that he did 4 Rooms, you said?
Well, he directed a segment of 4 Rooms.
We will not be talking about stuff like that, like those little segments along those lines.
Or From Dusk Till Dawn, or True Romance.
That doesn't count.
Or
It doesn't
Natural
count.
Born Killers.
It does not count because I've not seen Natural Born Killers.
Really?
Yeah, but we're gonna go his quintessential filmography. We're gonna go along those lines. So we're gonna start off the floor with his first official movie from 1992, and one that I recently saw, and that is Reservoir Dogs. I will start us off quickly and say, I love this film. And you all know I'm not the biggest Tarantino fan, but what he manages to do with this one and tell such a very multi-layered story by doing all these different characters, weaving in and out, but keeping it in a very contained setting with one room and then maybe going to flashbacks here and there with some of the other supporting characters, Mr. White, Mr. Yellow, Mr. Blue. Well, Mr. Blue, quote-unquote, dies. He doesn't really get that much time at all. But the rest of them, really, Mr. Pink. Mr. Pink was great. I thought it was a very well done. Keitel was great. Roth was great. One of my new favorites from Tarantino, just from out of nowhere. I love it when directors can do such a very, can tell a very succinct and tight story in a small area. It makes me really, really appreciate what they can do. Ryan, what is your take on Reservoir Dogs?
So I don't know where everybody's level of Quentin Tarantino fandom is.
We
But
will go ahead and tell us beforehand so we have an idea.
But I feel like I'm pretty high on the Quentin Tarantino fandom scale. And it's not that I don't like Reservoir Dogs. I do. I quite enjoy it. And I can sit down and watch the movie and have a really good time. And it sets the building blocks up for so many of the things that I so deeply adore. But this movie is dramatically overrated. It has like 4 amazing scenes and a lot of filler. And I think that it is a well-established piece in and of itself and what it is, and it creates Tarantino such as he is and such as we know him and love him. But I don't think that this is a movie. Like, I don't get people who are like, oh, which is better, Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs, which we'll get to. But like, I just don't get that conversation. This is a lower tier Tarantino movie, but still a good movie for any normal human being.
All right, and Abe, Reservoir Dogs.
This movie is, I think this was the last one I saw before watching Django because I hadn't seen most of his films, if I'm not mistaken. And it's really great. I think it just establishes him as a filmmaker, and you see it like in his other films, like how good he's with characters. And I think it's one of the best things he has as a director. Like, his characters are memorable. Like, a lot of Tarantino's names characters, and not a lot of writer directors can do that unless it's like iconic, like, I don't know, a franchise of anything. I know the name of the majority of the Hateful Eight people, and I've only seen that film 3 times. So that talks about him. So, I mean, Reservoir Dogs characters are easy because Mr. Pink, Mr. White, but the actors are wonderful. And can we spoil it? I guess so. It's a movie.
Go ahead, spoiler it. This has been out since yeah.
But like the twist, Tim Roth is the how you call it, the rat in the group.
He's
really
the mole.
The mole.
Your mic.
The mole. Well, it's my mic or Manning's?
Manning's.
Okay. And it has one of the most iconic scenes of the night. It's of Michael Madsen cutting. Who's cutting the ear from, what's the name of the actor? I don't know. Nash? I don't know. But
yeah.
That dancing scene and everything, it just established himself as a filmmaker. And it's one of my favorite Tarantino films.
Michael Madsen you're talking about, or?
Michael Madsen is cutting the ear off.
Yeah,
okay.
Who did he
cut the ear off of? Oh.
Yeah.
Marvin Nash. Wait, Kirk Baltz? Yeah, Marvin Nash played. Kirk Baltz is Marvin Nash, and that quick roll. Stuck in the middle with you. Okay.
Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm, go ahead. Sorry, I'm reading stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Reservoir Dogs either. I watched it for the first time a couple of years ago, and I just never clicked with it. It's the lowest on my Tarantino rankings on Letterboxd. There's only one that's lower, but it's only because I haven't seen it. We'll get to that later. But I just got overly bored in Reservoir Dogs.
Okay, wow. I didn't think I'd be on an island of myself for like really liking this movie.
You're not.
Maybe because my expectations were so low for this movie that I was like, hey, this is not that bad. I really enjoyed it, especially how the end, Mr. Pink of all people is the one, spoiler alert, gets the diamonds and goes off scot-free. It's the small character moments that really make this movie for me, and Harvey Keitel just really has this wonderful presence, so I'm all on board. Is it a perfect movie? No, but I had a blast with it. But then we get into what is arguably his best movie ever, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is Pulp Fiction. I'll let Ryan start with this one. Go ahead, Ryan.
One of the greatest movies ever made. This is honestly, like, Pulp Fiction is just this mess of fascinating and interesting things with some of like the best performances that you will ever see some of the just most amazingly intricate storytelling. Like Pulp Fiction is an astounding cinematic achievement, and every time I watch that movie, I see something different. Something clicks. I'm just like, oh my! And I've seen this movie I don't even know how many times over the past number of years, and it's every time I'm just struck by how great it is, and how when we wrap around the story we start with the scene in the diner, we're just so thrown into this world, and we end in that diner with this very philosophical take from Samuel L. Jackson's Jules. Samuel L. Jackson, who has never been better, and who by all rights should have won an Academy Award that year and did not, and which is a load of baloney. And it's just I can't say enough good things about Pulp Fiction because it's so amazingly perfect that, you know, this is a movie for the ages, and one that I think absolutely every movie fan needs to see and understand and take part in, because like I can understand, like, you know, a lot of people complain that they don't like the Gold Watch segment of the movie, and it's, you know, it's certainly, if you were to talk about the movie having a weak part, I guess that's where you would point to. But it's so essential to tying a lot of the philosophy that the movie is trying to engage with together, and bringing these characters into these sort of spots that you can't really go without it. And I'm just astounded by how good this movie is to this day, and it's one I think that if you haven't seen, somehow leave. Stop watching our podcast and go watch Pulp Fiction.
All right, guys, you all heard it. Let's go watch it again. Abe, what about you? Pulp Fiction.
Manny.
Yes. Abe.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, what? You're prepared. Wow, okay.
Manny, this is my favorite movie of all time. I remember
It
the
is,
first time
I know.
watched. It was the summer before going into sophomore year, if I'm not mistaken. And I was sitting like that, just like that, in my room, dark, alone in the house, and I watched it, and then I restarted watching it again. I became obsessed with that film. There were, in history class in sophomore year, they made me write journals every day, and there were some free topics. You know what I wrote? Ezekiel 25:17, the path of the righteous man.
Oh,
That was what I wrote in my journals every day. I think this is one of the most charismatic, wonderful, well-told stories like ever. Like it's just perfect. Like you talk about the Golden Watch story like being weak. It's not weak at all. It's Bruce Willis doing stuff. Well, the pancake stuff is kind of weird. I don't like that part. Okay, that was the only part I don't like. But it just, you grab things like from, as you discovered, like I haven't watched it like in a year, I think, and I was thinking about watching it like 2 days ago, and I don't know why I haven't watched. Probably gonna watch it tonight. Just put it in the back and listen to it again, because just listening something, like if I see a scene, like a clip in YouTube, like it's recommended, I go into this rabbit hole watching clips of the movie and seeing the like it gets me excited to talk about it. Like when you told, oh, we're gonna talk Tarantino movies today, I didn't remember that, and I was happy because I was gonna be able to talk about Pulp Fiction. And it has, I mean, the Big Kahuna Burger. Oh my god, I'm so happy to talk about this one.
Yeah,
it makes you hungry.
well,
Yeah.
it does.
Like a Royale with cheese. I'm ready for that.
The dancing scene, actually, in junior we had to do a dance for a theater class, and I danced that part.
Which part? Which Uma Thurman's part or John Travolta's?
Oh, John Travolta, but I did that. I was not proud of my dancing, but I did that.
I wish you would have done the. That would have been amazing. Oh, that's great. Well, yeah. For those of you know, yeah, that is easily, as we did like the top films for Take 3. That was Abe's #1 film up there, and so I totally understand that. I was not surprised whatsoever. I was surprised he brought the Pulp Fiction poster so quickly, though, but he was prepared.
Actually, the frame had it on broke. So.
I can't remember what it lost to in the bracket tournament though.
What did it lose again? Do you remember what it
I
lost
don't
against?
know.
It was, Abe, whatever. It was like it made it far though, and Abe was still excited.
I think it was the Empire Strikes Back.
Oh well, that's Empire Strikes Back. All right, and Malcolm, Pulp Fiction.
Well, Manny already ruled the joke I was going to do to open it, because I was going to do you know what they call a quarter pounder of cheese and fries?
What do they call it?
Gruyere with cheese.
There you go.
What do they call it in New Zealand?
Quarter pound.
Oh, not as exciting.
Well, see, like I know that they obviously call it a quarter pounder in Canada, but I was curious to see if that was like something reserved for the Americas, and it was other parts of the world were different.
No,
but
actually, in
good to
Mexico
know.
it's called quarter pound. Well, in Spanish it's cuarto de libra, but it's called quarter pound.
Well, Mexico's part of the Americas. So
Oh yeah, but like no, but I mean like it's not like imperial. Like it doesn't use pounds. It uses kilograms. You know, it could have been.
yeah, we have the metric system in Canada too. You are aware of that, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I like Pulp Fiction is my number one Tarantino movie. It's a really great movie, and I really do love it. And you can tell how much impact it has had on other movies when they start referencing it, because in the MCU they referenced it by putting that quote on Nick Fury's tombstone in The Winter Soldier, The Path of the Righteous Man, like just bits like that. They just find a way to insert references in other Samuel Jackson movies. It's just so entertaining. Just
It actually changed kind of.
No, go ahead. I was gonna segue us away, so you go ahead.
Like it, a lot of people say like it was like before and after Pulp Fiction, because it was this independent film that won Cannes and then opened the way for independent films like to go over and do big things. It was not a studio film. I mean, it was. Is it Weinstein at the time? Yeah.
Well, they
Once
bought
they-
it, but
Yeah, they bought it, but like it was this independent film that came out of nowhere, won Cannes, and now like it's set up. Well, that year with Clerks and Kevin Smith and everything, that year was what really opened the industry for independent filmmakers.
Yeah.
The influence it has.
And while we're doing an award show podcast, we have to say that this movie was done. It was done dirty by the Oscars, like really.
Yes. Yes.
I disagree. I think Forrest Gump is deserving of the win.
I actually think
I like
Shawshank
it.
Redemption.
See, like Shawshank Redemption, I can sort of accept, even though I still think it's a vastly inferior movie to Pulp Fiction.
Wow!
But-
Wow!
But I can sort of accept that. Forrest Gump is just not a good movie
Wow!
at all.
Wow! I disagree with that statement, but regardless, I think I will be the only one on here whose favorite film from Tarantino will not be Pulp Fiction, which we'll get into later. What their favorite will be. Yeah, which it's probably the obvious one because it's the other one that people usually tout as the one that is his best. But moving on to the next one.
We'll probably get on to Shawshank when we talk about Stephen King movies.
We'll go for that later. We'll get there eventually, one day.
Maybe next month. Maybe next show, actually. To be perfectly honest.
The world may never know. Okay, so next one is Jackie Brown. Abe, take us away.
You know, Manny, this is in the low tier of Tarantino movies for me, even though it's interesting, but I don't think has like the characters another Tarantino films have. It has a lot of him, but what I really love about Tarantino is his characters, and this one does not have. It has great moments, like the ending. Well, I can spoil it, right? When she's
Spoil
going
it.
away,
I haven't finished it, but I don't
with a
care.
briefcase. All that sequences, I think it's really good. I think Samuel Jackson as that guy. What happened?
No, we'll go.
We'll
Keep
get
going.
there.
We'll get there.
Oh, I think Samuel. Well, again, I think Samuel Jackson is like his muse. People say it's Uma Thurman. I say it's Samuel Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And this is him working with De Niro, right? De Niro's in it. Michael Keaton. It has a great cast, but it just I think it like the bar is so high with him with a ton of his films that this one just goes down. And I think it's been getting a lot of love lately. Like people say, "Oh, this is my favorite Tarantino." Like it has evolved greatly. Haven't watched it like I don't know 3-4 years, so I
No.
think it's fine. Okay.
Malcolm, Jackie Brown.
Yeah, I mean, like this is it's the bottom, it's in the bottom half of the ones I've seen of his. There's only one that I've not seen, but that's still ways down the line yet. But this is one I loved. It's above Reservoir Dogs for me. And this is one I just really I didn't know much about it when I watched it. I just saw it was on Netflix. I'll watch it and see what, and enjoyed it. And Michael Keaton and Samuel Jackson are just great, as they always are. But yeah.
No, I was about to say I completely agree. Samuel L. Jackson is Tarantino usually will bring out the best in Samuel L. Jackson regardless. So I'm always excited to see him and whatever he does. But yeah, this movie is. I was like, listen, I was on vacation. This is a 2-hour 30-minute film. Reservoir Dogs was a breezy hour 40, and I was like, this is great. And then I got like 30 minutes or so, into Jackie Brown. I'm just kind of like, you know what? I gotta do some other stuff right now. I'm gonna go lay out on the beach for a little bit, worry about that, and I just never got back to Jackie Brown to this day. It's not bad. It just didn't hold my attention as other Tarantino films have done before, and I can see why people tout it as the lower tier film. I liked Fonda in it as well too. Forrester was good, but in terms of Tarantino, yeah, this is definitely lower tier. But then again, this is coming from me, so what do I know? Ryan, why are you shaking your fist angrily at me?
Because you need to watch Jackie Brown and you need to
I will.
finish Jackie Brown.
I will. I promise.
Look, this movie is like it's not Tarantino's best movie. Don't get me wrong. Like that's not what I'm suggesting. I have it if I'm looking at my personal list. I have it in 7th, and that's nothing to shake a stick at. This movie is really, really good. It is Tarantino's most mature movie, maybe except Once Upon a Time, but we'll get there. But but no, honestly, it's probably even more mature than Once Upon a Time, and it is just so neatly constructed. It's based on a lot of really stellar performances, and it's so moody, and just you live in this world with these characters, and it has some stunning visuals that are just that don't announce themselves, but are just really well done. It's a really intricately laid out story, and I think that it shows Tarantino's skill in that he was able to do an adaptation instead of just a fully original thing and turn it into something that is still uniquely his, that still calls out a lot of cinema that he loves, and that is this really powerful piece. And I come back to Jackie Brown less often than a lot of other Tarantino movies because it's this sort of harder movie to watch, but it's got so much really good stuff there that I don't want Jackie Brown to be like the forgotten Tarantino movie, because it doesn't deserve to be. It deserves better than that.
I promise I will finish it. I just have not gotten the chance to. My urge to watch it has not been as strong, but once your defense of it has made me say like, okay, I'll go back and give it another shot. Or by another shot, I mean, I guess I'll finish my first shot. So I will do that, I promise you. Which brings us into our next one, which Malcolm will start us off. We're going to combine them because, in their heart, they're kind of, even though they're two separate films, I watched them back to back. So we're going to go with that. Malcolm, Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2.
But yeah, I love these movies. I think the second part is the better half, but it's one of those ones where when I was doing my ranking, I considered I was like, do I have them side by side as just one whole movie, or just it just counted sort of one slot or just have both parts. But I thought I read the way of just having both parts because they are two separate movies, regardless of how Tarantino may want to twist it. Go well, Kill Bill is actually just one movie. I've actually got two more in the pipeline. And that sounds like something he would actually do, to be honest.
Like,
but
depending on how he feels.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's like when it comes to the music, just from the iconic whistling, and that probably didn't come out well on the mic anyway.
We got what you were going for.
Yeah, like there was.
Sorry, it's in my head now. Go ahead.
But there is like memorable quotes in there, even if it's just like maybe throwaway lines like "My name is Buck, I like to fuck" or stuff like that. But those sort of lines people just remember, and yeah, it does have a lot of good moments to it. So yeah.
All right, and wait, who's next? It's me. Oh, I'm next. Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2, they are in separate films, aired separately. Only reason I'm putting this together is because, just for time's sake. Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2, I do enjoy Volume 2 better because there is a much more of an emotional pull concerning Bill and the bride, or Beatrice. I honestly think Uma Thurman is stellar in both of these films, and I think she easily, personally for me, carry these films. And while I enjoyed the Yakuza aspect and Lucy Liu in the first one, the second one just, I don't know, it had a more of an emotional stake that I was into. The Kill Bill movies are not my favorite when it comes to Tarantino, but they are probably the most fun I had in a Tarantino film. And that's saying Pulp Fiction, while it's a lot of fun, there's just something about the Kill Bill ones that has this very classic. You can tell there's some Japanese cinema infused in there, some really art house stuff that I think that he does stuff wonderfully, and especially that entire fight scene, that over the top fight scene at the end of Volume 1 is still pretty fantastic. Fantastic, black and white, wonderful, love it. Ryan, Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2, or you want to do them separately? You have permission.
This is one movie.
Okay, there we go.
Tarantino aired it as one movie. It is told as one movie. Its chapters continue as one long feature. Because, one day I will make the pilgrimage when they are showing The Whole Bloody Affair again, and I will go see it in its proper format. This was the Kill Bill Volume 1 was the first Tarantino movie that I saw. I was 12 at the time. And
That's all right.
and I was just so awestruck by this thing. Like, it was absolutely a film that I felt was made for me at that moment in time, because I was going through a phase of a little bit of obsession with Japanese culture, and not that phase ever necessarily not that it necessarily is past, but especially at that time in my life. And I was so struck by how cool that first movie was. And, it cuts away into, and Tarantino, interestingly, like the way, and I understand why people say like, oh, they're different movies. Like Volume 2 is clearly much more Western oriented, and Volume 1 is clearly Japanese from start to finish. And I get that. But the way that he uses these different cinematic elements in this story to tell this progressing narrative is really cleverly done. The anime sequence, it's such a bold move for him to just decide to do that.
Yeah.
And I understand, I understand that the choice is animated by the fact that he didn't want to have a child in that position, which I understand, but nevertheless, it
works.
It's cool because it's not, he doesn't do any other animation in the entirety of his filmography, and it's just this one sequence that's terrifically done, that's just fascinating. And this is a great character piece. It's cool as hell. It's filled with action that is unbelievably well shot and is just perfectly designed. And then Volume 2, it brings in a lot of that emotional stuff. And I think that the monologues between the bride and Bill at the end are some of the best Tarantino's ever written. And I think that, Volume 2, it probably is the most difficult thing about Volume 2 is that it has a somewhat anticlimactic finish. But even then, I think that the way that it builds to that and the kind of emotional payoff we get throughout that story is great. And I think that the Kill Bill is, if it wasn't for just the sheer awesomeness of Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill as a unit would certainly be my favorite Tarantino piece. And it is. I finally, because I haven't seen The Whole Bloody Affair, I can't really judge it as a whole, because there are differences between The Whole Bloody Affair and the two parts mushed together.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. The sequence is not in black and white, it's in color. The anime sequence is longer. There are certain aspects to the Whole Bloody Affair that are slightly different. So I can't judge what that would be separately. Right now, one of them is my number 2 and one of them is my number 4 because something got mushed in between there. But I adore these movies, and I think that they are a great entry point to this kind of cinema for a younger person.
All right, and Abe.
People are gonna hate me for this. I don't hate these movies, but I cannot say I liked them.
Oh, okay.
This is one of those films that there are moments from it that I really, really like, that I like rewatching sometimes, but at the end they do not add up for anything from me. I think they're good moments, but I mean, Uma Thurman's great on it. I think Michael Madsen is really good. But at the end, I don't feel attracted to seeing the film. Like, I remember watching Volume 1 and saying, "Oh, this is good," and I actually rewatched it before watching Volume 2, and it just I never connected to it. I'll probably watch it again. I don't know, maybe years from now, but I just don't. It's not one. It's honestly, it's at the low. Like, it's both of them at the low from my Tarantino film, and it's not because I think they're bad made films. It's just films that I don't connect to it at all. Like, they're fine, they're comfort movies, sure, but I just don't see the emotional connection you guys said or anything. It just the action sequences are great, but other than that, I don't see anything from them.
No, yeah, that is how I feel for most Tarantino. Like, I get it, but there's an emotional connection that I don't have with these films that just don't seem to relate until we got to this one, which is my personal favorite Tarantino film and one that I genuinely love. And I don't know, there was something about this one that really stuck with me. And I'm not sure if it's the brilliance of Christoph Waltz and Brad Pitt and the rest of those.
You skip something.
We're not going to Death Proof, okay?
It was released
It's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
It was released as a standalone movie.
It's not part of his film. All right, Death Proof. I didn't see it. Go ahead. We can talk about Death Proof, but it's not part of his 10 films.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
No, I'm pretty sure it doesn't count because otherwise, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood make it as 10th.
He defines Kill Bill correctly as one film.
All right, time to do some investigation. Okay.
All
right.
Death Proof counts.
Okay.
Also,
I have not seen Death Proof. Ryan, Death Proof.
Death Proof is the lowest of Quentin Tarantino's filmography. That said, it is a fun movie, and it is a movie that, like, you watch at home on cable at late night, and that is when you watch it. It's like I didn't know that it was a Quentin Tarantino movie the first time I watched it. Someone turned on Grindhouse and it was just on. I was like, oh, this is cool. And I don't really like Planet Terror. Everybody's like, oh, it's overshadowed by Planet Terror. I don't think Planet Terror is that good. But I think that Death Proof is it's really like, it's just this grimy and like kind of entertaining horror movie a la Duel, a la Jaws, but like also with a lot of like, badass stunts and sexuality and Kurt Russell being creepy. I think it's a movie that like everybody should watch at home late at night one day. but not a movie that you necessarily are going to write like essays about.
Abe?
This, as Brian said, this is probably the worst Tarantino movie, but it's not bad.
It's not bad.
No,
It's not
like
bad.
it's a really fun movie to watch,
Yeah.
and it's that prologue, yeah, at the beginning, like with the girls in the bar,
Yeah.
and that lap dance. It's incredible to watch when you're 15. Okay, and that was weird, but I think Kurt Russell is great in it. Like the action sequences, the whole when they're in the car, like Soyvel, and I think this is Soyvel's first like acting role, like as a lead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's great. And Rosario Dawson, like everybody's. It's a fun movie to watch. Yes, Ryan said you probably watch it on cable and say, "Oh, this is like Tarantino going Robert Rodriguez."
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent of that. I don't think he was trying to be serious or anything or say something with it. He was just trying to have fun with the story, and I think he achieved that, and it's fantastic. And yes, it comes as a Tarantino film.
Have you seen it, Malcolm?
I have seen it.
Okay, I'll just stick this one out. You go ahead.
Why the Neighbor Crazy? This is not the worst Tarantino movie. It's way better than Reservoir Dogs. I
Okay.
I really enjoy Death Proof. Like Kurt Russell is great in it. And it's just the action it's a fun movie, and it's one that I can watch over and over again. And still have the same excitement in it. It is probably the number 5 on my Tarantino ranking. So, yeah.
Wow. I also want to say that this movie it gets the Tarantino Foot Fetish Award. There's a particular scene in this that you're just like, oh, okay, so that's what we're doing now. It may only be in the extended edition. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen the non-extended edition. But there's a scene in this that really girl is sticking her foot like outside the car window, and Kurt Russell comes and sucks on her toes when she's sitting out in the parking lot.
I don't know.
It's a weird moment.
No, I think
that it's just like, what?
Okay, I knew. See, the well-known fact of Tarantino's foot fetish is well known. I have heard of this before, but I did not know he went that blatant with it. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I think it happens in the original.
Sorry?
I think it happens in the original. Well,
Okay.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw the extended one or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time.
But anyway, looking it up, people apparently are very split on if Death Proof counts on. But we'll count it for this one to make you guys happy. So, because I skipped it because I didn't see it and people gave me conflicting reports upon its validity. Okay, so Inglourious Basterds.
Inglourious Bastards.
My favorite. Now, as we were going, this one is my personal favorite because I actually don't know why it's my favorite. I can't really pinpoint the exact moment, but there's a lot of different moments that come together, and I think it might be, honestly, Christoph Waltz who gives my favorite personal performance in a Tarantino film. He literally commands the screen, and there is this wonderful marriage between Tarantino's eye as a director and this film, because you can tell he has evolved from where he once was, even back in Reservoir Dogs, for me personally. And I think it comes to full fruition, especially that opening scene with it's just this very, very tense moment throughout the entire movie. And Melanie Laurent, I believe is her name, who plays the girl.
Shoshana.
She's great. It's a great film. I love it. It's also made me love Strudel because, man, he may also have a foot fetish, but he also has, like, I don't know, a Strudel food thing going on because, man, that Strudel looked real good with that cream, with whipped cream on top.
I've been trying to make that
doesn't
one.
like Strudel?
It's really hard to make.
Yeah, Strudel is hella hard to make.
But I will continue to buy it.
There's a pretty good episode of Binging with Babish on that one.
Yeah, that's why I know it's hard. You need like a big piece of cloth, like to roll it, and
yeah.
I don't think this is stuck in food, but you need to do that.
Welcome to Gone with the Food, where you'll only end up in our stomachs. Okay. And Malcolm. Wait, who's next? I'm sorry, Ryan. Wait, well, me.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Someone who likes this movie as much as I do.
I mean, I think if we're going to talk about food movies, we need to get a certain Brooklyn Vale on here as well. But
The guy loves. Yeah.
But yeah, Inglourious Basterds is one of my favorite Tarantino movies. Like all the performances are great, and even from the ones you wouldn't expect, like the former Schmodown singles champion Sam Levine is in this movie. And I can't remember his name of his character now, but I know it popped up as an actual question. Which, but regardless, it's a fun movie. It's definitely top 3 for me.
Awesome. Ryan.
I really like Inglourious Basterds, and I think that it does have some of Tarantino's best work. While I still probably lean Sam Jackson in Pulp Fiction as the best performance in a Tarantino movie, I get Christoph Waltz being the best. Like, it's a really great performance, and there is not a villain like that, really. And I think that exemplifies like true evil in Nazis. And I liked that came out, and I like how bold this movie was with, using so many different languages to be like absolutely true to the scenes that they were in. When it would have been so much easier for Tarantino just to do this movie all in English, and everybody would have forgave him for that. But he makes so many good choices. The thing that and the reason why there sounds like a slight hesitation, I think this is probably Tarantino's most overrated movie. And that's not to say that it's bad. I still really like this movie. It's 6th on my Tarantino list, which, it isn't anything to shake a stick at because of how much I adore the top 5. But I think that this movie is it's a little self-indulgent at moments, and not in necessarily Tarantino's best ways. And that's kind of where I'm a little struck. Like, I don't come back to watch it super often, and I think that there's some weird inconsistencies in it that I just don't love necessarily, but I really like it. And every time I watch it, I always get something great out of it. The bar scene is just phenomenal. Michael Fassbender in this like relatively brief role in this movie. I would say brief, but I guess he's in it for like 45 minutes because that scene is so damn long. But
Yeah.
it's
great.
But it's a terrifically acted movie. But I just think that it's got some weaker moments.
And Abe reminds all of us, if you're in Germany,
You need to do this.
if you're in Germany, all right. It's one of these. Don't do this. Basically, don't do this. You're in Germany. All right. And Abe, bring us home for this one.
Manny, this is the second Tarantino film I became obsessed with. I don't think I've loved it as much as Pulp Fiction, but it was. I mean, this is the second one I saw because Pulp Fiction was the first one. Then I saw everything else. So, yeah. I don't know what to say.
All right.
No, but like it's really great what he does. I think the acting in this film is Brad Pitt in it. After Fight Club and Seven, this is probably Brad Pitt's. Well, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is neither, but this is one of the best performances Brad Pitt ever done. He was nominated. This was his first nomination as Best Actor, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so.
No, Benjamin Button was first. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't even know if he was nominated.
This was the same year as Benjamin Button, wasn't it?
No.
Yes, but he was not.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm checking.
I will look
talking.
it up.
Oh, Brian's got it.
I got Brad.
But I do think this is one of his best work. I think it's like the opening scene is like you can see how incredible he can be as a writer, as a director. Like it's so much. There's tension in it. Like I think this. I'm never going to film school, and I don't think I'll ever will. But I think that's one of those scenes like you can show and tell them, "Oh, this is how you do." Like when he asks for the milk, it's like, "Who asked for milk?" But sometimes it's terrifying seeing someone drinking milk out of nowhere, I don't know. It was for me at the
Just
time.
casually.
Yeah, like who drinks milk casually without I don't know.
So Brad Pitt was first nominated in 1996 for Best Supporting Actor for 12 Monkeys.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He did not receive a nomination for Inglourious Bastards. He was
did not.
nominated for Best Actor for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button in 2009, and then he was nominated again for Best Actor in 2012 for Moneyball. He has been nominated 3 times for Best Picture, winning once.
For 12 Years a Slave. Huh?
For 12 Years a Slave, yes.
And he produced Moonlight, whatever. But yeah, this movie.
Well, he is not listed on Wikipedia as.
Oh no, I know, but like he was his company's.
He produced it, but he wasn't one of the like Oscar nominated producers of Moonlight.
Yes, but yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites, and I love it how Ryan and I are usually so in tune with movies. We have similar tastes, but when it comes to Tarantino, we are like, nope, that is where it falls off usually.
But see, I really like this movie. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's
now
overrated.
it's your 4. You hate it. You hate it. That's exactly how it works.
But this is not like.
No. This definitely. This one was I just thoroughly enjoyed for some reason. In comparison, that I enjoyed. All right, going on to our next one. Django Unchained, or Django, but the D is silent. So, all right, Ryan, Django Unchained.
I love Django Unchained. This movie is so, and like this is another Tarantino goes on this like streak of making really great villains, and Leo gives one of the best performances of his career as just this absolutely despicable villain, and it's just so incredible. It's so interesting to see Samuel L. Jackson in this like really despicable character as well, and the way that he really subverts some of our expectations is great. But it's also great, and and we didn't really touch on this when we talked about Inglourious Bastards, but he had some self-fulfillment there with killing Hitler and all of the sort of the Nazi high brass, and he really gets a lot of self-fulfillment here. With this former slave going ahead and killing a bunch of plantation owners. And while I'm not a proponent of violence, and while I think that some more radical political elements probably can take this the wrong way, I think that there's something very fulfilling about seeing a hero in that era triumphing over the evil of that era in ways that didn't actually happen, but were meaningful. And I think I love watching Jamie Foxx and Kerry Washington riding off into the sunset at the end. And this is just a great piece of Western filmmaking. And once again, Christoph Waltz is great. And I don't know how many good things I can say about Django Unchained. It's this great piece that was not what I was expecting at all, but absolutely made me very happy to see.
And Malcolm.
12 Years a Slave brought us to an interesting segue to get to Django Unchained. But yeah, the Django Unchained is a great movie. This is but also my top 3. But yeah, there's not much I can sort of say about this that Ryan hasn't already said. Mm-hmm. But Leo sort of showed like his acting chops especially when he did the whole knife scene. He showed like how committed he was to that role when he did that scene, injured himself, but just kept on going to that scene. And that's a take that they kept in. So just showing that you can still act well, just keep going. It's really an interesting sort of role for him.
Yeah. And Abe.
This is probably my second favorite Tarantino movie. Yeah, that much. I think I have so much fun watching this. The only bad part is Tarantino trying to do an Australian accent. No one has it. I'm gonna say it right now.
Oh,
it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not
We'll
good.
give him a pass.
But I think
this one.
Christopher Waltz well deserved won that Oscar because he's really charismatic in it. And it's Dr. King Schultz, and I mean, it's really dark, but there are really funny moments like with Jonah Hill and the KKK like, talking about their mask and everything, and all those parts. Like you root for those guys. They're probably them. I mean, they kill people there, but they're not that evil of characters that you custom with Tarantino. But it's wonderful. I think it's well directed. I think Leo, it's one of the best villains of the decade. Like I don't understand how he was not nominated for an Oscar for that performance.
It's
just,
baffling.
yeah, like I know Christopher Waltz was great, but like you could nominate both of them. It's crazy for me.
Yeah, I literally think somehow they were split in the nomination process, and then people were like, "Oh, well, whoops," and then they gave it to the one they're like, because they love both of them. So, but I genuinely, I didn't. This movie, when I saw it, I wasn't that enthralled by it. Shock to all. But you guys talking about it really makes me want to see it again, because when I saw it, I thought it was good. I love Waltz and I'm about to say Django, like Waltz and Fox in this one. I thought they had fantastic chemistry. For the few scenes they were on there, they had a great dichotomy between the two of them. Because one was very stoic, one was very flamboyant and fun. So it was a great pair, the two of them. And then this is before Wolf of Wall Street, right? Or was this after? This is before. So this is when I really saw Leo really, really fun with Wolf of Wall Street. When I was like, oh, hey, he's not being too serious. Because after coming off something like Inception, where it was a little more dour, this was very fun. And I thought he did a fantastic job in this one. The acting all across the board. It gets a little over the top, but that's Tarantino for you, for my opinion, when it gets to the very, very end. But that's understandable. It is what it is. I will also say it has my favorite name in a Tarantino film, and that's Brunhilde Van. Was it Brunhilde?
Brunhilde.
But her last name is Brunhilde Van. Excuse me. Brunhilde von Schaft. Brunhilde von Schaft, which is my favorite name. I don't know why, but that's the one that really, really enjoyed. All right, we're running low on time because Manning has to get to bed, so we're going to rush through these last two. We're going to do quick couple sentences for The Hateful Eight. Malcolm, couple sentences for The Hateful Eight.
I have not seen it.
That's the best couple sentences ever. Abe, couple sentences.
I really enjoy it. I don't think it's as bad as many people pointed out, and the cast and some was great. Channing Tatum is Channing Tatum. I don't know why I say that. Channing Tatum, it's kind of weird in it. I think he's the worst part of the movie, but out of that, I think everybody's fantastic. Walter Goggins, MVP of that film.
I didn't mind Tatum whatsoever. Ryan.
Really dig it. I started rewatching it again, and you realize how really brilliant a filmmaker Tarantino is. Great Ennio Morricone score.
Yeah.
And lower tier Tarantino, but still a good movie. This idea was perfected in last year's Battle at the El Royale, which I recommend.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, no, this one I think is probably one of the most visually striking, specifically the initial meeting between Samuel L. Jackson and Kurt Russell. That meeting when they're in the snow, and it's just that shot of him looking up, man. Oh, that there's something about that snow, the way he formulated that
opening shot of the cross with the amazing song. It's just like, yeah.
This movie is visually striking, while the story is not as engaging as some of the other ones. No, not engaging. Let me rephrase that. I felt it was too long, in my personal opinion. I felt the length in this one personally. So yeah, I'm going over my own thing. But yeah, I liked it. Good, not great, but good. So, and then finally, Ryan, take us and bring us home for the latest one, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. How are we feeling?
Got 5 minutes, guys. Let's go.
Okay. I saw this movie the first time, and I wasn't sure how I felt. I have now seen this movie 2 more times, and I adore this movie. It is so
Wow.
effing good. Oh my god, this movie. I'm just like drooling over the acting performances in this movie and the beautiful production design and just everything being just so. And this movie has the best soundtrack in any Tarantino movie, and that's something that's like really like significant about his career. The soundtrack is second to none. This is a movie that I could watch again and again and again, and it's just this moody, interesting piece about this time and about getting older and about all these things. And maybe if we take a minute to talk spoilers at some point, we can talk about some things, but because I'm gonna keep that away from
Okay. All right, we'll keep that away for now just because we're running low on time. We'll go to a deeper discussion upon that. Malcolm.
I haven't got to see it because it only just came out the past week here. So.
Yeah.
Perfect. Then I guess that means spoilers for next week. So then see it. And then Abe.
Manny, I kind of saw this movie because I went to see it when I had 1 hour sleep, and I think I saw like 2/3 of it because I fall asleep in a lot. But the last part of the film is really fun part. I'm gonna rewatch it this weekend, and we can talk about it next week.
Well, then I guess that means we're definitely talking spoilers next week.
But I will say I love the last part of the film at the beginning part that I saw the first 30 minutes before falling asleep. Not because it was boring, but because I was really tired. Yeah,
I can tell. I can tell if that's the case. Yeah. All right, but and funny fact, I have not seen the movie yet because I went to see this over Farewell. I'm sorry, I went to see Farewell over this because I was wanting to see Farewell over that. So I know I made the choice and I wanted to see that, but I thought
am the only one on Gone with the Wind who has seen the only movie that has come out this year that's going to be nominated for Academy Award.
Hey! Farewell has a great shot. Okay, it has a great shot for being the indie darling.
But which one has a better shot? That's
really, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. I mean, you're not wrong, but
I'll laugh if come nomination time is like it just gets completely shut out.
It's like
I'm really glad I didn't drop a spoiler, boy.
No, I mean, someone already dropped a big spoiler for me personally in this movie, so well.
Well, it's great. I highly recommend it. Al Pacino is amazing. Like, I'm so happy to see Al Pacino in such a good role.
I paid for it.
I just dream of growing up to be Al Pacino.
I saw that in your Facebook post. He paid for it. See, there you go. Hey, you also go to Regal.
Yeah.
No, it's Cinemark.
I'm sorry, Cinemark. I couldn't see that. Oh, never mind.
What a picture.
I'm about to say, I saw that in your Facebook post. How you want to be old Al Pacino in this movie when you grow up. Just make movies and see a movie and like, I want to make it. I saw that in the clip. That was fantastic. Okay. All right. So because now we are running out of time because Manning has to go to bed. Ryan, where can the people actually quickly top 3 favorite Tarantino films and where can people find you?
Top 3 Tarantino films. Pulp Fiction at number 1. At number 2, because we are dividing it, Kill Bill, Volume 1. At number 3, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wow, okay. Malcolm. Sorry, didn't find you. Where do we want to find you, Ryan? Sorry, I'm rushing to
people don't need to find me. Move on.
He's on Twitter at R McKenna. That's what it is? Or is that close enough?
19.
19. R McKenna 19. There we go. I was about to say R McKenna 19. All right. Is that R McKenna 19? Because R McKenna was taken, I'm guessing, right?
No.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, okay. Just wanted to. Okay. Is there a symbolic nature to the 19 whatsoever? Or?
No.
No? Okay. Just curious. All right, Malcolm. 3 favorite Tarantino films and where can people find you?
My top 3 Tarantino is Pulp Fiction, Django Unchained, and Inglourious Bastards. And you can find me on Take 3 hosting Rankum every Sunday night. This week is 90s comedy movies. You can find me hosting Full Metal Random, and you can find the Glee match that I was actually in up there now. And next week will be How to Train Your Dragon, featuring Manning. And you can find me competing all over the place, and Twitter, Letterboxd, and Stardust at Melkor.
Abe!
Pulp Fiction, Django, and Inglourious Basterds. I think I'm the same with Malcolm. You can follow me on Twitter at AbrahamF25. You can follow me on Instagram at AbrahamForest25. And you please do not add me on Facebook if you don't know me. Nobody has added me like in 3 months, but I still say.
No one added you in 3 months. You have no friends have added you in 3 months.
Like from people from that I don't know, or I know their name, but I don't want to see.
Does it actually happen often?
It used to happen.
Yes.
It used to happen.
Wow. Yeah, no, and especially in the line of work that we're in. We love you guys, but come on, at least
The
buy us a
line
drink
of work
first.
we're in.
The line of work we're in, guys. All right. So favorite Tarantino films. Number 1, Glorious Bastards. That's obviously my favorite one right now. Number 2 right now is definitely Kill Bill Volume 2, and 3 is Pulp Fiction, actually, because Kill Bill Volume 2 is a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. So even though I'm a little down on it, I still really enjoy it. Pulp Fiction is definitely number 3 up there. And for me, you can find me on Twitter at Cine_man. That's CINE_MANN, as well as doing a couple video essays on my channel, Manning Franks. Can't forget it because it's literally my name. And also, you can find me dominating on the How to Train Your Dragon trivia match because I wrote a video essay on that, ladies and gentlemen. How many views does that have right now? Over 180,000. So what? Come on, guys. You got this over here. You come on, Harley, Nico. Nah. I'm sorry, guys. You're met your match over here, okay? You've met it, okay? There's a new chief in Burke, and that's me. So, arrivederci, everybody. We are out. This has been Gone with the Wind. I'll see you guys later.
The broadcast is ending. It's ending.